Solid waste management remain a big challenge in Kampala and its surrounding suburbs. The major cause of the glaring piles of garbage in the streets of Kampala capital city, the inefficiency by Kampala Capital City Authority KCCA to collect garbage, while the flowing sewage in the streets and flooding is attributed to poor garbage disposal. Here, many of the residents pour their garbage in drainage channels, whereas the absence of street garbage bins has worsened the littering of streets.
So if you want to make sure that you spend little in hospitals, make sure that you deal with the garbage. If you want to make sure that you have a clean lake, clean city, make sure that you collect almost all the garbage that you generate. In
Kampala Capital City Authority as KCC can't manage clearance of the tonnage of garbage which is produced in Kampala. Kampala can't manage. We need the central government intervention.
It is estimated that 2,500 tons of garbage are generated in Kampala, yet only 1,200 tons are collected. The failure by Kampala Capital City Authority to acquire new fleet of garbage trucks hinders the efficiency of collecting garbage in the city by the responsible authority. At the moment, the authority is running with an old batch of fleet garbage trucks acquired 9 years ago as donation from Lake Victoria Environment Management Project. On table is a demand to procure 10 brand new garbage trucks to enhance efficiency in the collection of garbage in the city. However, the demand has remained a wishful thinking to the authority due to funding gaps in the authority's budget allocation.
10 garbage trucks to increase on the stock of our old fleet to quickly increase our capacity of evacuating garbage and also enabling us double or the speed at which we clean the city. We also want to procure 5 cesspool trucks to support the process of enabling our communities reduce the solid waste in the communities, but we do not have resources for this.
To know how many garbage trucks they are going to buy for each and every division. If we get garbage trucks, they are going to help mostly in the slum areas where people cannot afford to pay money for garbage. We understand that.
It's important that we provide trucks to KCCA, about 100 trucks, so that we can have a truck that collects the biodegradable separate from that collects the non-biodegradable, because you cannot mix them. You cannot sensitize our communities to separate garbage, then for you bring one truck and put all the garbage together. It will be a disservice to all those that generate garbage and separate.
Kampala Capital City Authority contracted 3 private companies that include Solid Waste Management responsible for garbage collection in Kawempe Division, Home Clean also responsible for garbage collection in the city. The project manager of Nabugabo Updeal, another big garbage collection company, Sonko Abubakari, says the company used to have small trucks for garbage collection in the city and the surrounding suburbs. However, this was the time when the city authority had no dumping landfill.
We had a fleet of 25 trucks, so we added 30-ton capacity trucks, 6 of them to the fleet. And we are intending to add more because our deployment plan, we need at least each parish in Kampala Central and Rubaga to have at least 2 trucks of 30-ton capacity.
Whereas attempts to have a clean Kampala capital city with the availability of plastic bins in the streets is being met with numerous challenges, Sonko says the laxity in enforcing the law on reckless dumping of garbage has significantly contributed to littering of streets.
Garbage containers, people operating food vending, they bring hot ash or hot charcoal, then dump into these plastic containers, so they end up being burned. So hawkers and vendors, they bring their merchandise every evening, but after selling their merchandise, they leave garbage along the streets. So this has been a challenge somehow, but we have already reported to KCCA we are soon getting a solution to this.
Initially, President Museveni had directed KCCA to stop charging fees from residents to facilitate the collection of garbage in their community on account that the authority alternative funding in its budget to contract private companies to collect garbage. However, this presidential directive suffered serious setbacks in the budget cuts of KCCA vote by Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. This moving forward left contracted private companies to collect garbage vulnerable with no option but to impose charges of garbage collection on the people, since KCCA to date is still incapacitated to pay the contracted garbage collection companies to do their work.
Any money from the government, we don't get any funds from the government, either top up or anything of the sort. So I urge people to continue paying for garbage, because it is the very money we use to offer the service of garbage collection and transportation.
Accordingly, KCCA passed the litter ordinance in 2022 with penalties like community service, fines and imprisonment. There is also a solid waste management ordinance, and in the new National Environment Management Act, there are also offences that can be preferred on any person found culprit. To achieve their main objectives of putting these ordinances in place, KCCA has deployed Green Scouts in Kampala to start enforcing the legal regime of these.
You Ugandans, to please avoid falling prey of this. There will be no massive waiver with who or who. As long as you're caught, we shall line you to court, and then we'll look at the matter, whether the matter qualifies for a straight fine, a quick fine. Please adhere. Put garbage skips or baskets in your cars and dump there. If you're walking, you look for everywhere there is a KCCA skip or a KCCA bin. Please dump your waste, including water bottles.
Having recovered from the Chitezi landfill, the search for the new landfill yielded results at a whopping cough of 13.6 billion shillings.
And also, we've also received the funds which are going to be used to pay land where we are still temporarily dumping.
So have enough land in Buyala. They have only used 5 acres for just dumping garbage, which shouldn't be a solution. So we must, for starters, if we have not yet invested the other money for a sustainable system, then we should, as a matter of urgency, think of designing a landfill. A landfill must have a buffer of between 200 to 500 meters, a buffer, distance away from the people.
We had a challenge of dump site, but successfully KCCA secured a dump site for us, and that's what we are using of recent. Recently they have agreed they are going to allow us to dump up to past midnight. So this was for purposes of creating convenience for us to dump, because the city had a lot of backlog. Remember, in the past 6 months we had nowhere to dump and the city had clogged.
The whole challenge of solid waste management in Kampala requires increased resources for Kampala Capital City Authority for civic awareness on reckless dumping of garbage, having more than 1 landfills, and procurement of more garbage trucks that can manage garbage traffic collection in the city. I'm Nafka Farida, reporting in Kampala.